Hello. In today's episode, we are going to discuss a topic that is quite important if you are selling or doing business across cultures, and that is international etiquette. Reading culture-specific gestures, respecting personal space, interpreting body language accurately, and engaging in small talk appropriately are all actions that contribute to first-rate business communication. In this episode, we will have the opportunity to fine-tune some of the international business etiquette and knowledge of several countries' etiquette. So let's dive in. And before we do that, I'd like to explain etiquette and the difference between etiquette and protocol. These two go hand in hand, but etiquette refers to the customary code of social behavior, or rather, a system of accepted rules, conventions, and norms governing polite behavior and interactions among society. Protocol, on the other hand, refers to the code of conduct and behavior governing diplomacy and affairs of the state. I chose some countries today to highlight some of their etiquettes, and hopefully you'll find it very helpful. So when doing business abroad, it is advisable to know the main rules of international etiquette. The culture and tradition of each country make people behave differently, and if the business executive does not understand how to adapt to that behavior, it can provoke rejection from the other party, which makes it more difficult or even endangers the success of negotiations. While social media has become the dominant means to engage a new business prospect around the world, nothing will ever beat the effectiveness of face-to-face meeting to close an international business deal. That's why it's more important than ever to learn the general culture, customs of the countries that you do business with. Doing so will help ensure that you're polite and professional in all your international business and travel. The countries that I picked for today, they're different in location, different in customs, different in language, and you will find some similar and others quite different. But we will not talk a whole lot about them, but I'll just give you an idea. Now, this will help you when you negotiate. This will help you when you establish a better relationship. This helps you when you're trying to make contact, and so on and so forth. So let's start with the first country, and that is Argentina. In Argentina, it is preferable to behave as in the old Europe. Argentines admire European culture, especially French and English. It is said that Argentines are Italians who speak Spanish, dress like English, and would like to live in Paris. So this is quite important about Argentina. As far as another country goes, and that is Australia, behavior should be as natural as possible. Australians do not like people who try to impress, pretend, or show themselves superior. The expression fair go, which is used in the sense of giving the same opportunities to all people, reflects very well the egalitarian spirit of the country. Let's move to Europe and let's go to Belgium. This is a country fragmented into two blocks, the Flemish and the Walloons. We must avoid referring to this division and also to the role of the royal family, as it does not have too much acceptance. Do not forget that the king does not have the treatment of the king of Belgium, but is the king of the Belgians. Of all the kings and queens are in the world, this is the only king that carries this type of title. Brazil, as we know it, and we receive a lot of people from Brazil here in Florida. Brazilians consider themselves Americans. The terms Latin American, South American, and Hispanic should not be used to refer to them, nor should the expression in America be used when speaking of the United States. In Canada, Canadian culture is closer to the British than the United States, believe it or not. Even in Quebec, the French region, and where they speak French, it is most like the British than the French. During the conversation, we should avoid talking about the sovereignty of the Quebec region as well as establishing comparisons with the United States. They consider that Americans are more aggressive and materialistic than they are. Chile. It is convenient to avoid any comparison with Argentina in all areas, culture, sports, business, etc. The difference between the Chilean business culture of Anglo-Saxon influence and the Argentinians, Italian Spanish, is as high as the 6.9 meters of Aconcagua summit, the highest peak of the Andes mountain range that separates both countries. Let's go to Asia and let's talk about China. You must show maximum respect to the highest ranking managers. Treat them as sirs. Xing Shan. Let them enter the meeting first. Wait for them to sit down and up. Listen to them with the utmost attention. Never interrupt them. Anyway, give them a differential treatment according to their status and power. Colombia. This is the Latin America country where the etiquette is more important. Use a low tone of voice. Avoid bad words and expressions, and show at all times a courteous and friendly behavior. Although more formal in the interior of the country, especially Bogota, than on the coast like Cartagena, Barranquilla. So that for Colombia. Let's go to Saudi Arabia. You have to show utmost respect for all their religious rules and customs, such as the prohibition of eating pork and drinking alcohol, the 5 prayers they perform during the day, fasting during the month of Ramadan, or family relations. Quite important. Let's go to Ecuador. The regional difference between the Serranos, Quitos, and the Casteños, Guayaquil, are very important for doing business. The first constitute the social elite of the country. They are more conservative, formal, and reserved during negotiations. The Casteños are more entrepreneurs, open to new businesses, more flexible, and relaxed in their commercial relationship. How about France? France, it is really positive to praise the country and its product, wine, food, fashion, etc. Unlike the Germans who consider that everything German product is good. The French think that all good products are French. Recognize it, they will like it. Let's go to Germany since we spoke about German. In Germany, personal questions such as family, salary, etc. should not be asked, nor should we talk about one's personal life, as it could be understood that our German partner should talk about his own. Avoid any topic of conversation related to World War II and Nazi Germany. What else can we explore today? Mexico. Let's go to Mexico. It is a very nationalistic country, especially in defense of its culture against the United States in our current era, and also against Spain in the past. In that sense, it is convenient to avoid topics such as the conquest in the Spanish colonial period, compared with the United States border problems and immigration. The words of ancient President Porfirio Diaz reflect quite well its position related to the United States. Poor Mexico, so far from God and so close to the United States. How about the United States? The United States, it is a very nationalistic country as well. Flag anthem. You have to be very careful not to criticize the culture or the way they live, the American way of life. They're very respectful and do not criticize other cultures in general. Let's do South Korea. Koreans do not like that foreigners criticize any aspect of their country or their way of life. Being a country that is very homogeneous from the ethnic and racial point of view, they consider that their culture is unique and superior to that of other countries, including China and Japan. We are going to Spain. Let's do Spain. It is better not to contradict Spanish people. Once the Spaniards have adopted the position, it is very difficult for them to turn back due to an attitude of pride typical of their character. The expression, give the arm to twist, is used in Spain as a synonym of changing your opinion, which gives an idea of what it costs them. Quite interesting. Let's go to South Africa. South Africa. Talk about politics, religion, and racial conflict should be avoided. If this last topic comes out, it is better to listen than to speak. It must take into account that on racial issues, whites of British origin have more moderate ideas than Afrikaners, mostly Dutch, who are extreme. I am going to end, although I have several countries to cover, I'm going to end with Turkey, a Turkey place that I love visiting. The Turks are very hospitable. Tea, chai, and coffee, kahve, are offered during the meetings. It must be accepted as a sign of deference. The tea is served very hot in small cups, so you have to take several throughout the meeting. It is advisable to take the cup by the edge so as not to burn. Water and sugar are added, but never milk. The famous Turkish coffee should not be rushed to the end as it has grounds like tea. It is not served with milk. We are going to stop here for today, and I hope that you at least got one or two tips from these countries that you can use in your future business. Thank you.